Hey everybody, Jack Gassett with ApexHead.com bringing you the 15th episode of the I Am No Expert series. We are nearing the end of our first season here with Force India. And speaking of which, I have turned down all my contract offers, which would mean I would resume with this car next season. Although I will not be racing another season on this game, I'll be moving on to F1 2012, which is due out next month. So here we are at Suzuka in Japan. And right now running in the standings in 6th position. I haven't actually done the math, but I would have to string together a number of victories, I think, to pull out a title here, so probably not likely to happen. This is my first race at Suzuka using no racing line, manual gears, and cockpit view. Taking a quick look at the starting grid, we've got Sebastian Vettel on pole position, and you can see that I'm running P12 for this race, and my teammate running P17. And no real surprises down here. Looks like I'll be mostly racing with Sauber and possibly Renault for this race as we take a quick look at the setup. And I also noticed that Massa qualified in 13th just behind me in the Ferrari. And Suzuka is a track that I have mixed feelings about. It's a lot of fun if you're in rhythm, and it's very challenging if you're not. My concern heading into this race is I actually haven't had a chance to play the game much in the last 2-3 weeks. Been very busy with Forza 4 videos as well as personal obligations. So, taking a quick look at our tire strategy here, we are going to be starting on the prime, and we are due to pit in lap 6. And part of the reason I do that so frequently is I like to avoid traffic. I know there's not any game-breaking glitches like in F1 2010 pre-patch, where you would get a lot of problems with traffic in the pit, but still it's just nicer to not really be dealing with a busy pit lane even when the programming is holding up okay. So that's usually my strategy. Of course, the concern is being able to keep pace early on. So here we are to start in position 12, and one area where I was losing a lot of time to the AI was in turn 1. It's such a sharp corner there, and managing your speed is very difficult, as you can see here. Cut very sharp contact with Perez on the left, now competing with Kobayashi, more contact with him, and now into the back of the Toro Rosso Aglishwari, and more contact, and if I am not mistaken, some wing debris flying nearby, but not mine. No warning from the stewards, but I do believe that I damaged the Toro Rosso's wing, but can't worry about that right now. I've got to try and get into a rhythm early and trying to find my line here up into P9. And this is a corner I either usually brake a little too early or a little too late. Manage it pretty well there. Now contact with Petrov in the Renault, and he fishtails a bit. Gonna now use my curves on the inside here, see if I can get him at the hairpin. And now contact with the back of Heidfeld, and kind of an aggressive move on the inside there. Surprised I didn't get a penalty for that. And more contact with Heidfeld. This is a very spirited opening lap, trying to get around the Renault. Let's see if we can take advantage up here. Going to have it go on the inside. And slight contact there. Let's see if we can hold our position here. Speed's pretty good, but Heidfeld will not give up easily. And now coming into this long stretch, it looks like he's got the pace over me. I am giving him room, and you can see that he does, and his teammate has to back off now, and more contact with the back of Heidfeld. Unbelievable. No wing damage. That's a very, very fast sweeping left-handed corner. Usually if you're not competing for position, you can take it in 7th gear as long as you get your entry just right, but we're going to have to wait for the next time around to see if I'm able to do that. And now you can see that Heidfeld is having a push here, and he's able to back off as I go wide at turn 1. As I mentioned, that was part of my struggles early on, and Heidfeld is able to get back around me. So lose position 7 there, and now I'm going to have to get my focus. You can see that I don't have a great line coming through here, and this is what I had mentioned early on, where it's it's great if you're in rhythm through these sweeps, but if you're not, boy, it's a struggle. So now skipping ahead here to the end of lap 2, still trying to chase down Heidfeld, sandwiched now between the Renault as Petrov is following behind, coming around the hairpin, and let's see if we can gain any ground on him through these corners, which tend to be difficult for me, so not feeling that confident, but maybe at the end of the long stretch where we had a near accident in the first lap, see if maybe I can get around him there, but it's very tricky to overtake there. And already realizing this stretch is going to be the benchmark for straight ahead speed, and I expect to be harassed by the AI through here for now as I hit purple for sector 2 and clip the top of the curb there. Don't get my entry quite right. Heading into the chicane here, which is where I was able to overtake Heidfeld before. And now Heidfeld slows down and must have been braking for Rosberg in front of him, but able to take advantage of that and swing by him. I almost rammed right into the back of him. So now that I've dispatched of Heidfeld, that doesn't mean that Petrov's gone away. Still being chased down by the Russian as I try and close the gap here to Rosberg, but now you can see the AI is pulling ahead pretty good. And a late break here is going to force me wide, and now Petrov's going to have an opportunity to cut on the inside, which he does. I'm going to try and cut on the inside myself and see if I can win the position back right away, but you can see I'm not able to. Now just trying to maintain pace with Petrov, and now Kobayashi harassing me from behind. And don't want to damage the wing. Very slight contact, and Petrov goes wide a bit, fishtailing just a hair. See if I can keep the pack behind me as I head through these chicanes. So the story of the race through 3 laps has definitely been the duels with Renault, and they are probably going to be my biggest competition to try and keep this P7 spot. As you can see, Petrov now having a look on the outside, but thinks better of it, and do not want to be fooled here, trying to maintain an inside position. And you can see that Petrov and Kobayashi are all over me. And a slight mistake here at the start of these sweeps, getting the line all wrong to start, and now trying to stay ahead of Petrov and feeling the pressure for sure and make my cut late, and that's going to let Petrov through. He's able to swing right by me, and now feeling the pressure from Kobayashi and the Sauber from behind. Let's see if we can make up any ground up at these square corners. And you can see the AI is very slow through there, but not a lot of room to overtake. So let's see if we can make something happen up at the hairpin. Going to have an inside line and brake way too late. And that's going to allow Petrov to maintain his position and just worm right through there. That move was reminiscent of a similar duel with Petrov dating back to Malaysia back in race 2. I remember it very distinctly. So now my only hope here is to try and maintain pace with the Russian, and you can see I'm still getting this corner all wrong, but able to keep Kobayashi and the Sauber behind for now, and not going to make up a lot of ground with Petrov here. See if we can do something up at the fast sweeping left-hander coming up and get our entry correct, and able to stay in 7th gear as we head into the final chicane. And if I was any closer to Petrov here, I'd probably be able to try and overtake, but now you can see he dives into the pits, so even though he was able to pass me, it was brief, able to get the position back. But of course it's going to be a question of how everything shakes out as I come in from my own pit stop. So now skipping ahead to the end of lap 5, not scheduled to pit, but you can see that I'm under heavy pressure from the Toro Rosso, Aguila Shwari no less, and I want to thank the subscriber who has corrected me on how to pronounce his name. I always appreciate that. I'd been pronouncing it very, very wrong. And you can see that he goes into pit here, and that's able to keep the pressure off of me. So now skipping ahead to the end of lap 6, let's see what happens with my own pit stop. And whoa, very close contact there on the left-hand side, but Auto Pit takes over at the last second and saves the day. Let's see what kind of time the team can give me here. And thankfully we don't have to replace a wing here, so able to get out in just under 3.9 seconds, so not too bad. Gonna go ahead and change my fuel mix to rich for the first time in the race. And don't forget that I am out on the options now, so I should have an advantage over the rest of the field. But of course I have to get the tires warmed up before I can take advantage of it. As you can see, I'm pretty sloppy there out of turn 1, not used to going the slower speed. So now skipping ahead into lap 7 after coming out of the pits, and you can see we're being hounded by Massa, and I get this turn all wrong and into the dirt for just a second. Now wheel to wheel and slight contact with Massa. He had the inside line, and fortunately we didn't take each other off. Going to see what I can do here at the hairpin, and very aggressive on the outside, but able to get back around the Ferrari. So pretty clean overtake. Basically what I was trying to do to Petrov, except for this time I had outside leverage, and nearly clipped his wing as I came along on the outside there, but fortunately no contact. And you can see this is where the AI is able to take advantage of just how poorly I'm able to manage my lines through that corner. Still have not mastered it, and again kind of reeling from the cobwebs from not playing this for a while, and able to stay ahead of the Ferrari through there. He was having a look on the inside but ran out of track, and now braking and making my cut way too late off the track, And Massa now having a look behind, but he is not able to get around me. So very, very fortunate to dodge losing a position there. Don't forget I am on the options, but Massa now gaining steam, heading into turn 1. And don't quite feel comfortable. Go wide here, and Massa's going to look on the inside and is able to steal the position quite easily. And very, very frustrating. Going to try and maintain my line through here, through these sweeps, and see if I can catch him later. But you can see that I'm just not quite on target. Kind of losing my way here late in the race with just a few laps to go. And Massa now pulling away. And unless I can get focused and back online, it's going to be very difficult to catch him. And this is not good. You can see the Ferrari has a pretty good pace. And so now let's see what happens as we skip ahead here to actually lap 10. And you can see that I have not caught Massa. And now braking too late here again, and now a very bad off into the gravel. And that's going to allow Petrov back, our old friend from earlier in the race. And now, given that we have just over a lap to go, I'm going to be getting pretty desperate. Now, contact with Petrov from behind, as I mentioned earlier, very easy to make contact with the AI there. You want to be next to them when you come into that braking zone, but didn't have that luxury. Petrov slowed down very, very quickly. And now turning up my fuel mix for the rest of the race. Going to see what I can do in terms of seeing about getting P8 back. This race has been very, very difficult and challenging. I know that I've gained positions from the start, but at the same time, very costly mistakes at the exact same corner, no less. And usually, what's strange is that I usually handle that corner pretty well. Now challenging Petrov on the inside here at the chicane. And we did make slight contact. We were wheel to wheel for just a moment, but I'm not able to make it stick. And here we go at the final lap, folks. This is the fastest lap of the race, and we'll see if that makes any difference whatsoever. You can see I had my DRS activated, and just trying to keep up with the Renault so that I can make a move late. Otherwise, it's pretty much all over for me in terms of getting that position back. But we'll see what we can do here. My fuel load is as light as it can possibly be. Tires are very well broken in and actually running a little bit soft right now. As you can see that I'm a little loose with my lines as I come through here. And not going to be fooled by that corner again, this time being pretty conservative and taking some inside approaches. And now pushing my curves as hard as I can to see if I can catch up to Petrov here. And while able to close the gap, not able to make any kind of a maneuver. And we are running out of opportunities coming up to this dreaded sequence of corners that I've had absolutely no success at the entire race. And really what I'm hoping for here is to not make a mistake just like that, go very, very wide, and that may have cost me for the last time. Now you can see heading into the straight, going as fast as I possibly can. And my only hope at this point is the chicane. As you can see that Sebastian Vettel pulls out the victory. This is it, going to have to make a move on the inside, try and avoid contact. You can see he started to turn in and able to brake perfectly, and actually he was out of gear for a second. I was in neutral, but able to get a clean overtake and redeem myself to get position 8 back, and not a moment too soon. So very, very tense race. I was able to gain 4 positions. But I'll be remembering this one for a while, given the number of duels and just how challenging it was to get away with what I did. So taking a look at the results here, you can see that the front row finished the way that they started, and Massa was able to keep that position 7 and finish ahead of me. And you can see that Sutil, my teammate, was able to finish a few places up from where he started, and poor Nick Heidfeld was the only DNF for the race. So that's how this one shakes out. Now it's time to start thinking ahead to South Korea. And as we wind down with some race highlights, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'm going to be breaking my neck to get the last handful of races here done for the start of F1 2012. There may be some slight overlap, and I'll apologize for that in advance if it goes that way. But hopefully I'll get these done before then. So until then, feel free to check out my channel. I've got close to 200 gameplay videos posted, by majority Forza 4, but also a number of F1 2011, including a great deal of number with commentary. So hopefully you'll check that out and subscribe. So thanks again for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.